My name is Ondřej, and I'll just try to answer the question how it's possible that we grew so fast and where we are actually getting the money and why the people are paying us. To just explain more the business model to the detail. I'm not a business guy at all. I'm a developer, but I needed to understand some basics of where the monies come from. Well, what I've learned that like in the far history, in Czech Republic, there are not only Czech Republic, like different companies. There were airlines, but it weren't possible to buy one ticket with combined different airlines. If, for example, if you are from Rome and you want to travel to India, to New Delhi, you actually need to ask the Czech company, for example, to ask a Russian company, do a list of where they are flying, and on the paper find like a way from Rome to Prague, from Prague to Moscow, from Moscow to New Delhi, and you are happy. And you can buy a ticket, like one ticket, but just separately tickets from the companies. That was a problem by the colonial time almost. Later, there were some companies called GDSs. This is the examples of the biggest ones. And they realized that the problem is big enough, so they persuaded the airlines to give them the data about flight schedules. So the GDSs were able to find the connection between across actually the databases of the scheduled flight across the airlines. And they were selling this technology, this API basically, to the travel agencies like Expedia or something which you may know. Yeah, it's still pretty old. And then, like a few years ago, basically like 15, maybe 10, the low-cost carriers started appearing. And they, in order to be cheaper, they refused to be in GDS because it's pretty expensive to pay GDS, so they will actually sell your flight tickets. So they have like said, no, we just want to have our website and we don't want to interconnect with the other airlines. That was their strategy, and it was pretty good. We know that the Ryanair, Wizz Air, and EasyJet-like companies are growing pretty fast, at least they were. And so the problem, it appeared again. Let's say I am a customer, I want to find a ticket across those companies, or even more, I want to combine this with these. Oh, that's what Skiwi.com started doing. We basically get the data from the companies. Well, started with scraping and then continue with some legal agreements, and now they are giving the data to us on the regular basis on API or FTP dumps and stuff like that. So basically we have the data which are not in GDS. So we can combine and create more content to be found through. And then, like a few years ago, it got even more complicated. Imagine another layer. We call them meta searches, like Skyscanner or Momondo. Perhaps, do you know Skyscanner or Momondo? I can see a few people, that's great. Basically, if you do a search request in these meta search companies, they'll send your search request to different OTAs, online travel agencies. That's what we are, online travel agency. And our search results are competing to each other, and the cheapest or fastest one gets on their search results the highest. So yeah, that's why we start also cooperating with GDS, and now we are combining all of the databases together. So with this unique content, and also with the algorithm, which is able to combine this huge amount of data, we somehow are on the point of just selling those flights. Just a very brief glance into our infrastructure of the search. This is how the data looks like. It's simplified. Basically, you can see the schedule of one individual flight. And this is the data, how we get it from the airline companies. And what we are doing is, like, each hour, basically, we try to find the combinations. You may see that if I want to go from Brno to New York, I can transfer in Oslo because the times are also okay. So basically, there's one table, like the raw schedules, and there is also much bigger table, combinations. And the combination are these rows joined together to much longer routes. It could be like a 2 layover, 3 layover, stuff like that. For these raw results, we use open source Cassandra database. The itinerary maker magic is written in C++, and also we have our own C++ based database, and we store like almost 20 billion of rows or the records to be searched through. On the output of the search engine, we have some machine learning filtering, which is basically throwing away those search results which are not doing well for the market. For example, if you are from Belarus, you can see different search result than if you are from South Brasilia, because the needs of the customers are different and the machine learning knows it. So it doesn't offer you some kind of flights. It depends on the cultural, social differences. That would be it. But yeah, one more thing. This is the search engine is for now public. So if you can do these GET requests to our API, and you'll get the results basically. It's not going to be public forever. I think we are closing it for like 2 weeks or month, but you can try it. You can build your own website basically on these. So this is it. This is how the search, the core business, how it works. And in our next talk, we will try to explain how we are actually dealing with the data for the analytics needs. So we are trying to answer some business questions, like how we are doing, how much we are selling, stuff like that. Joe is going to talk about that just after me. Okay, any questions about the search right now? About the business model or the technology? Sorry?
Probably later.
Yeah. Okay.